Welcome back, Diecast Emporium fans. A couple weeks ago, I asked on Instagram Live for people to submit questions, and I have compiled a list of 10 that I believe were some of the more credible and best questions, if you will. So the CCM AP 1055 is just for you to look at while I'm answering these. But the first question: how long have you been in the hobby? I've been in the hobby since I was 8 years old. So that would be roughly since 97, 98. So quite a while, going on almost 20 years. The second question: where can I buy models seen on Diecast Emporium? This is one of the questions I get a lot. It doesn't matter what social media platform it is, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I always get this question. There isn't just one place to go to get all of the models that I've had. It's taken me 20 years to obtain what I've had, or what I currently have, excuse me. So, the discontinued models, my suggestion would be go on some of the secondary market sites, such as eBay, Amazon, look around, see what you can find on there. But there are stores, websites, that you can go and buy a lot of the stuff that you see, and those include ConstructionScaleModels.com, RoyFergusonSales.com, ConstructionDiecast.com. There's a lot of sites that are out there. CCMModels.com is another good one, but that's kind of getting towards the high end of models, especially if you're just getting into the hobby. And I think that's a question that we'll address later on. Number 3, I want to start collecting, but I don't know where to start. So I think this question is pertaining to, they want to get into the diecast hobby, but it's so overwhelming that they don't really know where to start. So I would say that the number one thing is, first you have to figure out what you like. So if you like construction equipment, pick one particular vehicle that you may like, whether that be a dozer, an excavator, a trencher, whatever it may be. It's crucial to get a good first model. It doesn't have to be the best, but a good one. Because if you pick up a cheap model for your first model, chances are you're probably not going to want to continue down the collecting path. The other thought process behind that, or the other idea, is do some research. Determine what you like, and then go on the internet and see what's out there, or go to train shows, or scale. If you have a local hobby shop, go to a hobby shop and look around and see what's there. Alright, question number 4. What does scale mean? Again, another question I get a lot. So scale refers to how big the model is when compared to its real life counterpart. So let's take, for example, the model that you see on your screen going around and around and around. This is a 1/87 scale model. So if you were to take this model and, for lack of a better term, blow up each individual component on this paver 87 times, it would be the same size as the real machine. Generally speaking, another part of scale that gets everybody confused when they first start out is, okay, well, what's 1/16 scale versus, 1/87? How do I know what's a bigger scale, or how do I know what's a smaller scale? Easy way to remember this. The higher the scale number, the smaller the scale vehicle is. So, for example, if a model is 1/87 scale, it's going to be rather small. If a model is 1/32 scale, it's going to be much, much bigger. So again, rule of thumb, the higher the scale number, for example, 1/87, the smaller the scale model will be. Question number 5, what is my favorite OEM? And I'm sorry, I misunderstood that question. What is an OEM? So an OEM is, very simply, an original equipment manufacturer. So Caterpillar, John Deere, Case, so running down the whole gamut, that is what an OEM is. It's original equipment manufacturer. It's just an acronym. That's what it means. Alright, question number 6. What is my favorite model? I hate this question, and I get it so much. If I had to choose one model, it would probably still be the TWH Caterpillar 7495 electric rope shovel that you've seen many, many pictures of. Reason being, it's very rare. It's a huge model. It impresses people who aren't necessarily into this hobby of ours just by seeing it and how impressive and big and detailed it is. So, for all those reasons and more, that's probably why that's my favorite model. Question 7. How many models do you own, and at what age did you start collecting? So I keep an Excel spreadsheet that tells me exactly how many models I have by SKU numbers and by quantity. So at the taping of this video, I have, and this does not include the countless Matchbox and Hot Wheels, because I don't particularly, personally, I don't believe that that is part of this hobby. That is something different. There's a difference between a toy and a scale model that's worth money down the road. So, to this point, I own 706 different individual pieces of scale models. Those range from 1 to 87 scale, to 1 to 50 scale, all the way up to 1 to 16 scale. The second part of that question, at what age did you start collecting? I think I answered that earlier, but I started when I was around 7 or 8 years old. And the reason I started and was able to start so soon is not because everything was given to me, but because the second I was old enough to get a paper route as a young boy, I did. I jumped on the opportunity because it was great money for when you're a little kid. It was more than enough to support my hobby. You got to remember that we're coming up on 20 years ago, so around Christmas time or Thanksgiving, when I would go around every month and collect from people for the paper route money, you know, it's supposed to be $2.50 a month, so $2.50 a month. It wasn't uncommon for almost every house to just hand me a $5 bill or a $10 bill as a tip and just keep it during the holidays. And I remember one Christmas in particular, in tips alone, I brought home almost $300. So that's a lot of money for a little boy. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the younger viewers who are watching this and the younger viewers who, who see Diecast Emporium on the Facebook page or the Instagram or whatever else, you can start making your own money. There are opportunities out there. Personally, I would recommend getting a paper route. Great money. You only have to go around collecting once a month, folding papers, putting them in a bag, and chucking them at people's houses and driveways once a week. Pretty simple. All right, question number 8. What brands do you recommend for die-cast trucks? So this is an open-ended question as well. It depends on what scale of die-cast trucks you want. If you're into 1 to 64 scale, I would recommend Diecast Promotions, Greenlight Collectibles, and First Gear products. If you're looking for bigger trucks, for example, bigger dump trucks, bigger service trucks, and you're leaning towards the higher end of things, then TWH and Sword are, without question, the best that you can get. Number 9. How do I know if my model will hold its value? Well, simply put, you don't. You don't know if it's going to hold your value. That's half the fun. However, and this kind of leads into question number 10, so I'll just read question 10. I want to make an investment in this hobby, but what model companies are most likely to increase in value? So, historically, based just going solely on past experience and history. The models that hold their value and increase in value are products from Classic Construction Models, from Sword, from TWH, from EMD, and models like that. And the basic reasoning behind that is because they're all limited. All of those models have a certain quantity that are made, and once they sell out, they're done. You have to either go through a private collector or pay top dollar on eBay to, get that model that you want, because you just simply can't find it anywhere else. So, simply put, if you want to make an investment in this hobby, it's best to start with a good amount of money, because you're not gonna you're not gonna buy an Ertl model or something like that and expect it to increase exponentially over a period of time. So look into the higher end stuff if you are really looking to make an investment in this hobby. And again, really the clearest and perfect example of this is Classic Construction Models. They set a certain amount of, or a certain number of models to be made, and once they're done, they're done. Period. You can't call up CCM and say, hey, I want to buy a 1:87 scale Caterpillar AP 1055B paver because I think it would look cool on my spinny thing with blue neon lights. No, you have to go on eBay or, again, the secondary market to find some things. So I'll leave it at that. I do want to thank each and every one of you who submitted these questions. There's a lot of good questions in here. I hope I helped you out a little bit. If you do have any more questions, or perhaps maybe your question wasn't featured on this edition of the Q&A session, you can either leave it in the comment section below or send me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and I will be more than happy to answer your question as soon as I can. So until then, be safe, take care, and we'll see you soon.